Hello everybody, welcome to Uncommon Analysis. Today's video, I want to talk a little bit about something that really was overlooked. And it came to me the other day. Because a lot of times, what's really going on and what you really need to focus on is what's not being said. Just as much as what's being said, right? Sometimes more. And there was an event in this election cycle that showed me just how ridiculous the political environment is right now. Let's go back. Let's go back to, I guess it was around June, right, of this year. President Biden is in office. We know now from several articles published in the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times and other places post this event that Joe Biden was utterly mentally incompetent and unfit for office from day one. Okay? At this time, they were still keeping up the charade. They were still lying to the American people. The Democratic Party was lying. The mainstream press was lying and telling you there was nothing wrong with Joe Biden. He's perfectly fine. He's just a little older. He's a little slower. He's fine. Right? And this has been going on now for 5 years. Then this happened. The debate happened, right? And the whole world changed overnight. Okay? This is probably the most memorable moment of the debate because there were so many bad moments, but this is probably the most memorable. Joe Biden rambles about something and Trump literally calls him on it going, I don't even know how to respond to what he just said because I don't think he even knows what he just said.
And I'm going to continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either. Look.
And with that, the Biden campaign came to a screeching halt. It took a few more weeks. I have a video on what I believe really happened behind the scenes. I think the Democrats already knew they were going to lose, so they didn't care that Joe Biden was there. But when a week or two later, when the Dow ballot polling came in post this debate, it was obvious that if they had to go out and defend him anymore, they would lose the down ballot and have just an absolute massacre, not only in the Senate, but in the House. And that's when they finally pushed him out. I have a video, I'll post a link to it, where I talk about that's why I think they really finally pushed him out. But that's not the purpose of the video. The purpose of this video is why? And if you're a Democrat or a Biden voter or a Biden supporter, I would like your honest opinion in the comments. Why was there no outrage against the Democratic Party and the mainstream media from the Democratic base? Why was it? For 5 years, they lied to you. They conned you. They manipulated you. They deceived you. They told you that a man that was clearly mentally and physically incompetent, certainly mentally incompetent to hold the presidency, they told you he was perfectly fine. They convinced you to vote for him. They lied to you. They manipulated you. And you dutifully, like a good little loyal party person, showed up, pulled the lever, and not only pulled the lever, but then humiliated yourself by defending this incompetent along with them for 5 years. So you find out now, June, July, whenever this debate happened, you find out now, oh my God, everything the people who've been telling you that you don't want to listen to, that Joe Biden is a mental gone, his brain is pudding, turns out to be true. You can no longer deny it. And there was a call to get rid of him, right? Move him on. But there was never an outrage. Why was there no outrage from the Democratic voting base against the DNC, against the mainstream? Where was it? They lied to you. They manipulated you. They knowingly used you as a pawn. Yet there was no real outrage directed at the DNC, the Democratic Party, or the mainstream media over this. People like me saw through it. We weren't outraged because we knew it. It was just like, oh, yeah, see, I told you. We knew this from the start. People like myself told you. You didn't want to hear it from the start because you listened to the blathering idiots lying to you from whether it be Schumer or the panel at CNN or MSNBC or ABC or CBS or wherever you were your news from, or Vosh or, the Bulwark or whatever podcasting and or YouTube channels you listen to or TikTok people you followed, they all lied to you. All of them. They manipulated you. They used you. Now, as a human being, right, at least every human being I know, when you find out someone's lied to you and manipulated you and used you, what's your general honest reaction when you've been betrayed like that, right? You're going to be angry and you're going to lash out at the people who did it. You're going to be like, fuck you. Fuck you, fuck the horse you rode in on. You used me. You're an immoral, bad person. I want nothing more to do with you. Get out of my life, right? Maybe not to the extreme, but you're certainly going to be very upset with the people who you found out used and lied to you and used you. Yet, miraculously, when these people find out they were lied to, there was not 1 ounce of outrage directed at the Democratic Party or the mainstream media by those people, by the hardcore Democratic base. Not once. I find that astounding. Astounding. They flipped the script from Biden to Harris, not missing a beat. And there was never 1 ounce of anger or screw you or I'm done with you. I want nothing to do with you ever again out of these people. They just swallowed and went along with the ride. That's miraculous to me. And everybody missed it. Everybody missed it. Me myself. I didn't really come to that conclusion until very recently. I went back in retrospect and go like, wow, there was never a moment of outrage and anger by the Democratic base at their party for doing this to them, for lying to them, for manipulating them. Not 1 single ounce. These are people that broker in outrage, right, and victimhood. They broker in it day in, day out. It's a fundamental part of their party identity at this point. And yet, somehow, this 30% or so of the population that are registered Democrats collectively find out they were manipulated and lied to and deceived, undeniably so after this event. And not a single solitary, organized, and of any scope outrage at the people who used and manipulated them. So much so was there none of this that existed. None of this happened. So much so that they literally thought a few months later their shoehorn candidate that they just stuck in at the last minute was actually going to win the White House. They collectively, most of them believed this. That's how they just completely bypassed introspecting what had happened to them. Not 1 ounce of personal introspection happened. The entire Democratic base on what the DNC and the mainstream media did to them. Not a single moment of it, of any amount. I mean, there might have been something on the fringes. There might have been a blog post here or there. But as a whole, you just found out. You literally find out collectively you've been lied to for 5 years. You were used and manipulated and played like a sap. You find it out unequivocally. And not a single ounce of introspection, individually or collectively, on what the hell just happened, and the people. These people lied to me. You should be mad at them. You should make them pay a price. Now, most Americans did make them pay a price, which is why Trump is now the president. Understand that. Don't think that most Americans didn't see through. A lot of Americans saw through from the start. But the Democratic base, not 1 single ounce of outrage or introspection. I'm being found out that you were completely and totally lied to and manipulated by your party and by the media. Think about that. Why? I mean, I got to give the Democrats are amazing manipulators of people and emotions, at least among their base. They have to be, because they completely managed to misdirect and just make everybody forget. They completely lied. They completely conned their entire base. Get caught, and their entire base doesn't even bat an eye about the fact they were lied and manipulated to. Not once. There was no consequence to the DNC. And if you think that they now, even months later, it's now been, this was several months after this event, because it was in June or July, they had this debate, right? It was 7 months ago, I guess, the debate happened. It's now been, what? It's February, beginning of February. The election happened again in November, so it's now been 3 months, December, January, yeah, so it's been 3 months since the actual election happened, where the voters definitely said, American people said, screw you, we're not putting up with this crap anymore for a lot of reasons. And you'd think somewhere in that time, there should have been some introspection and go, oh my God, these people played us. These people lied to us. These people manipulate us. Why am I even talking to them? Why are they part of my life anymore? Right? But even with all of this, what did they just do a few days ago? They put David Hogg as a vice chair of the TNC. They've learned nothing. They don't have. I don't even know where to go with these people. I don't mean that. I don't mean that to be facetious. I mean that honestly. I don't understand. You were lied to. You were used. You were manipulated. You were played. And yet, you still are loyal. Didn't even get outraged about it. Didn't get mad about it. Did nothing. You just bypassed that all and just pretended it didn't happen. You're like battered women syndrome. You have like battered. You don't care. You're so used to being shit on that you just take it and go back. It just amazes me. It amazes me. There was not one single ounce of outrage. People like me weren't outraged. We knew this guy was incompetent, right? So this wasn't a surprise to it finally being exposed where you couldn't deny it anymore, because we'd seen it for years. But there were a lot of people who swallowed everything they said, and not a single one of them, not individually, collectively, ever kind of said, screw you, you used me. You lied to me. I want nothing more to do with you. They completely just lost. They didn't do any of that. They did no they just took it, expected it, and ran with it. That's just phenomenal. So if you're a Democratic voter, please explain it to me. Explain to me how you still are part of this party that lied and manipulated to you demonstrably for 5 years. Or did you know he was insane anyway, but you didn't care? Because maybe that's what you knew just as well as I did. He was mentally incompetent, but you didn't care because Orange Man bad. So that's all that matters. Anyway, just some thoughts. It truly blows my mind that this has happened. So anyway, if you like this kind of content, please like, subscribe, share, leave a comment. And with that, I hope you have a great day, and I am out.